What's going on? What is going on? Charles Botensten here. So it is a Sunday at 10:05 a.m. And, you kind of get this unrest, when shit is not going your way and you just say something has to give. There's two things that happen, all right? And then we'll talk about the two things that we need to work on as men. Listen, I'm not putting myself out there as being the most masculine guy. I'm not talking about dating coaches. I'm not, I'm not that kind of guy. But I've noticed that there is a slow drip within society that a lot of people are actually not doing, especially men. So in other words, there's really no good male figures up until the last couple of years, okay? Male figures, I'm talking about Jocko Willink, David Goggins, and then obviously a couple of the guys that actually interview him, like Lewis Howes and Tom Bayou. Dr. Jordan Peterson is another one. What's going on, Kelly? How we doing? So essentially, this is what I have to say, is that something will happen in your life and you have a reaction that you can actually do something or not do something, okay? The first one is, and then I'll talk about the actual disciplines. So the first thing is something actually happens to you and you say, okay, I got to get my shit handled. In other words, you start overdrawing on your bank account, or you start owing back taxes, or you start building up debt and you say, I think I got to get my money. What's going on, Chris? How we doing? I just answered your Instagram, by the way, and that actually triggered this. So the first thing is something on the outside happens to us. Or the second reason is that something on the inside actually happens and you say, I actually got to take control of this. So the first way would be you're just unhappy with your body, or you're not in any relationship and you start getting older and you're a man or a woman, and then you just say, you know what? I gotta not be doing online dating. I actually have to go out there and proactively meet people through networking events, through saying hi, maybe a different social circle. So there's one of two things. So for me, nothing will actually happen to me on the outside, okay? I'm not gonna go through bankruptcy. I may not go through a divorce because there is such an inner just drive and motivation to live up to the highest potential of myself, okay? I just will have a deep fear of regret, number one. Number two is I'll also go through life thinking, and actually, when people say, dude, you're doing good, you should slow down, you should take more vacations, that doesn't motivate me. When a teacher says, you're not doing good enough, or, yeah, I don't think your company's gonna do good, that's when I freak out and I just say, you know what, fuck this person. Guess who also thrived on that? Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. It's a good inner drive. So these are the two things that we, as men, what's going on, Dan, how we doing? We as men need to look at and are probably the most attractive things to a female, okay? That's my audience, is straight men. So if you're gay, it doesn't really matter. I'm assuming it matters as well, when you're dating. But as men, when you're looking for women, and I'll give you examples behind each one. The first one is discipline, okay? Discipline of gym, of career, of your relationships, of your values, of your morals, just who you are. Discipline. Here's the example. I meet a girl at 7 p.m. The date ends at 9. Done. We're done. Okay? If you'd like, you can come home with me. If not, we'll go out another night. And I actually said that last week. And guess what happened? She came home. Nothing ended up happening. We had another drink in my apartment, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter to me. Okay? Maybe back in the day, I'm like, yeah, let's get another one. Oh, you don't want to? No, my discipline is my job, my career, my health, okay? That health is number one. So why do I end it at 9? If the girl says, let's meet at 9, I have something before, sorry, can't do it. I have to meet at 8 and we can go to 10, can't do it. Let's do it another night. Why? And by the way, it was funny because she gave me shit too. At 9, I looked at my watch, I was like, listen, you're welcome to come back. I have nice red, white wine, rosé, whatever you want there. You can come back. If not, and then she thought about it, and I just did one of the head nods, and then she said yes. Okay, and this has nothing to do with dating. This has everything to do with discipline. People will test you more now than ever before. Okay, they will test I heard something very interesting. Someone before Donald and Hillary were running and were the candidates, is that someone said that the person who will give the candidate who will give them the most certainty will always get elected. And I said, wow, I can actually take that into my life. The person that will give you the most certainty will probably get hired to represent your home for sale. The person that gives you the most certainty will probably be the person that actually gets into a relationship with you. Okay? The person that gives you the most certainty, you trust because you test them. People test you all the time. Dude, stay out with us. Dude, what are you doing? Why are you going home, you big pansy? Come on, let's take a shot. And you say, you know what? If I take a shot right now, I'm probably going to be drunker. If I'm drunker, I'm probably not going to be able to approach that pretty girl, or I may be hungover tomorrow. You need to handle discipline. No one is going to give you the discipline of making sales calls. No one is going to give you the discipline of giving you money. No one's going to give you the discipline, you're ordering too much shit on Amazon, okay? So that's internal. Someone will give you the discipline of ordering too much when your bank account starts running low, when you start owing debt, when the IRS is coming after you, okay? So it's one or the other. What do you choose? And the second one is handling shit that comes your way, handling uncertainty. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in sales, this is a must because people want to create drama, okay? When things are going perfect and swimmingly and life is great, guess what happens? People don't like it. They want to create drama, okay? That happens in every single deal that I'm in. Okay, in real estate, every single deal. And guess what? You know what I've noticed? The clients that come back for more business and give you the biggest referrals are the ones that give you all of their problems that are not even yours, that you didn't even create, and you handle it. You handle their personal issues that they're going through. You handle the bank when it should be the banker. You handle the legal stuff when it should be the attorney, or it should be the board or the management company. It should be someone else. But guess what you are? The solution. Here's an example. Someone texts me and an attorney should have already done something and filed documents with the state of New York City. The New York State to close on an apartment. Okay, this happened last week. And one of the agents that's working on this texted me and they said, could this have been done before? And I said probably by the attorney while the transaction was going on because they want to close by the end of the year, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if any of that made sense. But the thing is, they then had a follow-up question, and the follow-up question was more about the complaining or the blaming. And I literally just cut it off. This is a very personal friend of mine. We're both involved in the transaction, and there's tens of thousands of dollars that we're both gonna collect, upwards of $40,000 to $50,000. And I just said, listen, we're not dwelling on this, we're moving on. And that was it. That was the text message. Back in the day, I might have been a mirror. You could be one of two things. Obviously, this has everything to do with Ryan Holiday and stoicism and things like that. I'll get into that in a second. But within sales, you could be one of two things. A mirror where they give you something and you reflect it back. They give you bullshit, you reflect bullshit back. Or you could be a sponge. So a sponge is someone that collects it and that's it. Stopped. Okay? Someone on the elevator says, holy shit, it's cold here. It's 28 degrees in New York City. In my mind, I'm like, it's really not. So I don't respond. I'm like, it's not bad. Someone says, I can't believe what Donald did. Or I can't believe what the Democrats did. You can either reply. This happens all the time in real estate. I live in New York City. They talk about politics and bullshit and all these things. Guess what you could do? You absorb it or you go back and forth. Do you get involved or not? So the second discipline as a man is to be able to take all of the shit. I have the problem with the videos I sent you as they reacted. Listen, Chris, like I said, so Chris sent me a direct message on Instagram, okay? And it was a woman that was giving this guy shit. You can't hear anything. First of all, I don't know if it's staged or not, even if it's not staged. I don't know the relationship. Listen, if you're, in other words, they were sitting down, they were outside, blah, blah, blah. Maybe, Chris, you could link it up so people could look at it. But essentially, that's going to happen. There's a lot of times, here's the best video. Go and watch Navy SEAL motivation. Okay, I think it's about 5 minutes, and there's a point within that Navy SEAL motivation where one of the instructors says something very important. It stuck with me. And one of the candidates, one of the SEAL Buds candidates, is going through, and the instructor of the SEAL training pulls this guy out of the boat crew, and he goes, I don't want you to graduate. I don't like you. I don't need you. Okay? There's going to be times in war where I'm going to want to kick the guy next to me in the face. Is it beneficial for me to kick my buddy in the face? No, it's not. I don't want you. I don't need you. I don't want you to graduate. He's saying this to the guy. In other words, there's going to be times I'm going to want to punch this agent in the face or to complain about a candidate. Okay? But the actual thinking of, yes, there are times when someone is going to give me shit and I fire them as a client, or I just leave the relationship, okay? If they're cheating, or if someone does something immoral, illegal, unethical, I drop them as a candidate, I drop them as an agent, okay? But listen, Chris, we don't know the relationship. They could be married. They could have been dating for 3 or 4 years. You don't know if he totally fucked up before, whatever. But the actual act is taking it and not doing anything and then seeing the reaction. Listen, I don't know if it's staged or not, but I'm going to tell you right now, like I said before, is that the clients, the candidates, the attorneys, all the people that could see that you are the fucking rock, not like the actor, but the person that they can rely on is the person that's going to get hired again, the person that's going to get the most referrals, the person that's actually going to get voted into office, the person that gives them the most certainty. I give you all of my shit. You handle it. You don't complain about it. I'm going to work with you more. I'm going to date you. Okay? It's that weak-willed, that weak mindset. The person that breaks, you don't trust. They will never be your leader. They will never be your friend, your manager. Listen to Jocko Willink. There are times that Jocko says it's all about, he says it in, obviously it's the title of his book, but he goes, the dichotomy showing vulnerability or emotion is weakness. Listen, you saw, it depends. Listen, Jocko Willink has something, and it's obviously the title of his book, The Dichotomy of Leadership. There are times you need to lay your foot down and say, this is how it is. Then there's other times where you say, okay, what's the bigger picture? This is my kid. This is my girlfriend. This is my wife. This is someone that works for me. Okay? It's all in the scenario. But the only way that you know to be, the only way to actually know how to lead is being a leader, is by actually trying it out. Here's the last, maybe the last one. I'm just really fired up. I look at my last Instagram post. My last Instagram post is about comfort, okay? Comfort is seized when we actually are not disciplined. We are not disciplined to wake up early. We're not disciplined to actually say no to that shot at the bar, or to say yes to actually, and then I just produced a video. It's getting edited right now. It's about micro avoidances. This is all cyclical, okay? The problem is that I did for 8 years is I just read. I never did. And then I had that inner just, dude, you're not as far along as where you want to be. You need to change right now. Something has to give before something else will make you give. The government asking for money, your bankruptcy, the relationship you're not in. Here's another thing. I think I've talked about this. This girl posted, what's going on? How we doing, Adam? This girl posted on her Instagram that I'm friends with. She just turned in her late 30s. I don't know if she watches these videos, so I don't want to give away her age, and then she'll know that I'm talking about her, but she may know that I'm talking about her because I'm talking about her right now. Anyway, she posted on her Instagram, I wish I was farther along in relationships. I have no kids. I'm single, blah, blah, blah. She's a very attractive girl. She has 70,000 followers. She's an influencer in the fitness industry here in New York City. And she's a friend of mine. I met her at one of my parties probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and we've kept in touch and everything else. And then I started thinking, I'm like, how much is that the men? How much is that the dating pool? Ron White has a great joke, and he says he was doing a show at Fort Bragg, and there's 20,000 soldiers down there. And he goes, thank you for your service. And he's opening the show. And this woman in the front row goes, they're all a bad fuck. Ron White, maybe after 19,999 times, you start to say, maybe it's me. In other words, if you date 20,000 soldiers at the end of it and they're all a bad fuck, maybe it's you. In other words, you're making 100 phone calls and nobody wants to work with you. It's not maybe the sales calls are not happening well. It's because you're not good enough. Your sales isn't good enough. This is what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about when someone says, I only have 1,000 followers. I only have 500 customers, or whatever the case is. Really what it comes down to is, I'll read that in a second. Really what it comes down to is maybe it's me. Maybe that girl in her late 30s, maybe it's her. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's not the guys. Maybe it's not the dating pool. Maybe it's not society, okay? Maybe you have to look on the internal and say, the external things, it's not that, it's me, okay? So the two things you have to work on, men, get your shit together, all right? Number one is discipline. Be disciplined in your morals, your ethic. Do you understand how many times clients have come to me and they're like, hey, yeah, don't worry about it. Just sign this lease. Just do this. You know, kind of do it on the side. I'm like, no. I'm disciplined to say no to a commission check because my morals and ethics and my legal ramifications that could come, no. And I've lost many clients like that. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So I chose my morals and ethics. I chose what's good for me. And I know you're thinking, oh, that's easy. But when someone presents you with a $15,000 check and they say, just sign it, you have the discipline to say yes or no. Why? Because if you say yes to that, you may say yes to something else. There's a story I was hearing, and it was on a grander scale. I forget where it was. And this guy's running for presidency. Or actually, no, he was running for mayor of New York City. It actually might have been on Valuetainment, the interview. And he's getting very cozy with this guy who's a Russian guy, and he wants to do business in the United States. And the guy brings him into his limo. The Russian guy brings this candidate, this guy who's running for office, into his limo. And the Russian guy says, hey, listen, I have a blank check right here. Just to make sure that my business and all my propositions go forward, what should I write on there? The guy goes, no, you're not going to buy me. The guy writes a check for $1 million. $1 million. And he says, this public won't know, not a big deal, whatever. The guy says no. And then the Russian guy goes, get the fuck out of my limo. We're never going to do business. I'm going to make sure you never win the candidacy. So guess what the guy did? He got out of the limo. New York City. He just walked out. He didn't know where he was, got a cab and went home. Guess who that person was? An FBI operative. That Russian guy was an FBI operative, and they were doing a sting within all of the corrupt candidates in New York City. When do you know that person you're talking to cannot rely on you? Okay? These are powerful life lessons that I've gotten into that I can tell you right now. Discipline will get you further. He obviously says it. Discipline of your mind. I now don't even watch many YouTube videos. Okay, I don't even care about podcasts. I want to learn from a book, someone that actually put 2 to 3 years of their life on hold to produce a 250 to 300 page book, because I know that's going to be better for my 45 minutes than potentially a podcast. If it's someone like David Goggins, Dr. Jordan Peterson, some of the guys that I actually really respect, I know I'm going to get a lot from that because those are life lessons. Those are people that actually are doing it. Okay, but I don't care about another video of someone maybe like myself that puts out a video, okay? Because I'm doing it, but I'm also disciplined with my time. I'm disciplined with a lot of things that I know will get. And then the second thing is being able to handle all the emotional bullshit around, being that rock. Stoicism is everything, because life is not going to be easy. Life is not going to be fun. Life is all about suffering according to Buddhism, okay? I don't know what kind of those comments are. So men, going into 2019, all right? Women want you to be this way, and I'm going to leave you with this. This is the reason. If you're single, even if you're in a relationship, it doesn't really matter. This is the reason, okay? And I'm going to write about this more and more, is that women, they only do two things when they date. They date up in status, money, and age. That's it. They don't go below, okay? Going below is If they're 32, they're not going to date someone that's 28, okay? And by the way, people are like, well, I know of instances like that. Yes, there's some instances. I mean, on a grand scale. So as the woman gets older, her actual pool of dating shrinks. As she starts getting more money, the dating pool shrinks. And the reason being is that a woman will not want to date. So in other words, I can date a 22-year-old. I can. But if you actually know evolutionary, why the fuck are you posting these things? Just fucking put user in timeout. There you go. Dude, stop posting these stupid things. So just look, evolutionary biology and psychology, go read up on that, okay? Everything we do is for one of two reasons: mating and safety. Mating and survival, I should say. Mating and survival. That's it. The reason that men need to make more money, so they have better choice in mating. And also with safety and discipline and all these things. This guy's getting fucking put in timeout too. Who are you people? So listen, two things around that is when you actually start getting, okay, going back to it. Women, if you're 32 and you're making $100,000 in New York City, you're only going to want to date people that are 32 and above and that make $100,000 and above, okay? So it starts shrinking. The dating pool starts shrinking. Women get more unhappy as they age if they're not actually in a relationship, okay? And the reason being is that their main meaning typically is not work and career, okay? A man's main meaning is typically work and career because we can't have babies, okay? Our only job is for survival and mating, okay? And we can only, survival is easy nowadays. The only way we can mate is actually A, if we find someone, but B, if we move our way up in the hierarchy of men. Within status, within fame, build of size, the amount of money we make, our looks, whatever the case is. With women, the way that they can move up is to be healthy, along with maybe fame and status. Money, most guys don't give a shit about, okay? They don't care. And to be honest, most of the time they don't even care about fame, okay, at all. Because there's very ugly famous people. However, guys, if you're famous and everything else, what about your thoughts on women going back to your ex-boyfriends because they simply... I see it all the time, man. Adam asked about going back to ex-boyfriends. Dude, I'm telling you right now, there is going to be an exponential crisis in 10 years, okay? The reason being is that there was a great documentary, and then I got to go to holy shit, I got to go. All right, guys, I got to go to an open house on the Upper West Side. Have an amazing day. I'll continue that another time. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below.